Sa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Today we will start talking about Cittasika, mental factors. So when we say the Pali word Cittasika, that means without consciousness they cannot arise. So they arise depending on consciousness, but it will make the consciousness different. If, for example, consciousness originally is pure, but when the consciousness associated with impure mental factors, it becomes impure. When consciousness associated with pure mentalities, then it becomes pure. So all the mental factors, they will arise together with consciousness, citta. Then they will perish together with the citta. So here in this case we can understand they will arise together and perish together. They have the same lifespans. This is the nature of mental factors. Another thing is sharing the same object with the citta. That means all the mental factors will take the same object with the citta when they arise together. Then finally we have sharing the same base with the citta. For example, when iron consciousness arises in the eyes, then there will be iron base, taking the color or shape as object. So these are the nature of Cittasika, the mental factors. We have already mentioned briefly before, but this time I should elaborate a few more about mental factors. The first is SABBACITTASÂDHÂRADHÂA. SABBACITTASÂDHÂRADHÂA means it will associate with all types of consciousness. That means whenever consciousness arises, these mental factors will arise together. It may be good, it may be bad. But now we should start with phassa. The characteristics of phassa is the act of touching the object, pusana. It will touch the object. So it doesn't mean as we can touch a material, like for example, we can touch the table, the cup with our hand or our body. But when we talk about phassa, it's not like a touching physically. It means just touching mentally. For example, when you see something eating lemon, saliva will gather inside your mouth because your mind touch how sour the lemon is. Similarly, when somebody is climbing a very high tree, nothing to hold on it, you may feel excited, you may feel nervous when seeing somebody climbing a very high tree. This is actually only your mind touch. That you feel something in your mind. So here we should understand the nature of phassa, contact, is the act of touching the object. it will be different types of contact also. The function is impingement upon the object, sangatana, or connecting between the mind and the object. It will connect. Then we can know the object. This is the functions of phassa, contact. Then when we talk about connection, we also have to know a few things about phassa. In English, we translate as a contact. For example, we have eye contact. In Bali, caksa phassa. Then, eye contact means eye consciousness and the object. In between these two, phassa our contact. It becomes valid. We can see something. Similarly, we also have ear contact when hearing something. Then phassa our contact between ear consciousness and the sound. Similarly, nose consciousness and the smell. Tongue consciousness and the taste or the flavor. Body consciousness and the tangible object. Similarly, mental mind and mental object or mind object. So it will connect between object and consciousness. This is the functions of phassa, contact. The manifestation is the contact conditioned by the occurrence of sense bases, the object, and the consciousness, the sanipada, as well as the contact that give rise to feeling, vedana. So then without many other conditions, we cannot have any contact. He also already mentioned occurring of sense bases. Of course, if we don't have good eyesight, we cannot see it. That's why sense bases also important. Without object also we cannot see, we cannot know, we cannot feel anything. The object also one of the factors. Another thing is the consciousness. So then we can also say, as in the arising of these three, the base, the object, and the consciousness, then this also can be considered as a manifestation. So condition in this stream, there is a contact. Then sometime you may have already known the dependent origination, phassa paccaya vedana. Because of contact, feeling arises. Does that mean the phassa also can give rise to feeling? Finally, we have proximate cause. The proximate cause is the distinct arising of an object. Here also, abhata gada visaya. Actually, the object arising, that's why we can see it, we can feel it, we can know it, we can sense it. So these are the conditions of phassa. So we already mentioned phassa means connection between object and mind, the basis. Not only that, phassa means just mentally connect. It doesn't mean we just connect bodily. Okay, now we have to move the next one. The characteristics of feeling is the experience of an object. Here, anubhavana, which may be pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral. So we can also say, feeling me like enjoying or experiencing something good and bad or neutral. Now we have the next one. The function is to intensify or diminish associated mental states. Sambayutana, Ubha-bruhana, Milapana. Okay, it depends on what kind of things. Right? It can be stronger, it can be weaker. It depends on what kind of feeling we have. So this is the nature of the feeling. Then we also have to know a few more things about this feeling. Mostly in our daily life, we also have many different types of feeling. Pleasant, unpleasant, neutral. I already mentioned, mostly we have neutral feeling, right? Then this is also a kind of enjoying something, right? For example, then there are many things. They can also know this is good and bad, pleasant and unpleasant. Why we say feeling is a special factors to feel or to experience. We have one simile. For example, we may have many different chefs in the kitchen. Okay, similarly, the king also have many chefs. They work for the king. They cook for the king. So before they serve for the king, they can also taste some amount of food. But since it does not belong to them, they cannot enjoy like the king. In the case of feeling, it is like the king who can enjoy his food cooked by the chef. There are many mental factors. They are working together to feed something. But they are not the king, they are just chef to support the king. So when we are going to talk about feeling in Bali Vedana, we have to understand like the king who enjoying the taste of all his meal cooked by all his chef. This is the nature of feeling. Okay, now we have to move the next one. Manifestation is as the enjoyment or affliction of objects. Asarabhava or Abhidhamma. So we have two different things. Enjoyment. Of course, when we have good objects, there will be enjoyment. When we have bad objects or undesirable objects, no enjoyment. We may feel something painful in our mind. Then here we also have the last part. The prosemic cause is the specific sense faculties that serves as its base, such as body faculty, kayendriya, or body sensation, or mental tranquility, passaddhi, and jhana pleasure. So these are the conditions. Okay, here in this case, we may have different prosemic causes. Of course, when we have jhana, jhana pleasure, it will be one of the prosemic causes. Similarly, we also have tranquility. It can be one of the prosemic causes of having pleasant feeling. For about other pain or anything, it can come from body translucency, kayendriya. Though we also have many types of feeling. We have already mentioned in the consciousness chapter, pleasant feeling, unpleasant feeling, neutral feeling. Okay, we can also divide into different groups again. We also have pleasant feeling, bodily, and mentally. Similarly, unpleasant feeling, bodily and mentally. Mostly when we talk about bodily displeasure or unpleasure, we just use the English word pain or discomfort. Similarly, we also have mental pain. Mostly we just say as a displeasure or anger, distress. Then we have a neutral feeling. Right? We also have neutral feeling. Neutral feeling can be both bodily and mentally. But one more thing here. When we study Satipatthana Sutta, they are mentioned 9 types of feeling in Vedananupassana. So basically there will be 3. Pleasant, unpleasant, and neutral. Then there are also some types of feeling that associate with sensual pleasure, right? Something enjoyable things. Then there are also some types of feeling not enjoyable, although it's a pleasant, not enjoyable. Then there also can be like a renunciation. Some of the pleasant feeling associated with renunciation. Okay, briefly, we may have many different types of feeling. We have already mentioned eye contact. There's also the eye contact also can produce pleasant feeling, unpleasant feeling, neutral feeling. We dislike whatever then we see also. Right? Similarly, there can be many different feelings. Sometimes we like it, sometimes we dislike, sometimes it's normal, neutral. So on hearing also, it will be the same. Ear contact also can produce feeling. Similarly, nose contact, tongue contact, body contact, mind contact, they also can produce feeling. So these are called different types of feeling in our daily life. I have already mentioned feelings like the can for enjoyment. So in every single consciousness, this feeling will associate. Sometimes we have equanimous feeling or neutral feeling. That's why we cannot recognize, we cannot sense there's a feeling. And we have to move the next one. The characteristics of perception is marking or recognition of an object. Okay, here we should say marking. Right? So we can see practically in this building, we have a lot of joints in the wood. For example, we are going to do threshold or the door. We have to use many wood. There must be many joints, right? For example, as far as I remember, when I was a childhood, I have seen many carpenters, they are working. If they are going to join, someday they will mark 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4 like this. That means they have to draw 1 to 1, 2 to 2, 3 to 3. They mark like this. They make a hole. After that, they join all the window or door like this. Even truss roll, they do like this. So we try to mark something. That's why we can remember many things. Right? For example, in the past, you may have done something good. You mark in the mind. You recall. You can feel better. You may have many bad experiences in the past. You mark in your mind. When you recall, you feel unpleasant, discomfort in your mind. This is marking. Now, one more thing here. When I talk about Noble Eightfold Path, this is the Noble Eightfold Path, right? Then we also say ignoble path. That means not Noble Eightfold Path, right? We're going to ignoble, right? Then, when we talk about Metta Sati, Metta Sati means wrong mindfulness. Right? People also ask this kind of question. Does the Buddha say wrong mindfulness like this? Mostly mindfulness associated with only wholesome. Why it's become Metta Sati, wrong mindfulness? Actually, Metta Sati means this one, perception. When perception is associated with unwholesome consciousnesses, it will be Metta Sati. So we mark something bad of the past. We recall. This is the nature of sati. This is the nature of perception. So we have the next one. The function is to establish a sign or future recollection, pacha, vijnana, or enabling recognition of previously encountered objects. So this is the function. The perception will recall. It will make some marking in the past, we just recall it. So you have already known Buddha no Sati, Dhamma no Sati, this is also recollection. This is a good recollection. We mark something in the past, we can recall. Actually, recollection is a sati, mindfulness, because we just recall only good things. If we recall bad things, it's sanya, perception. So we may have encounter many good things, many bad things, right? Then, he also, in my previous Dhamma talk, I also had explained in the question and answer or somewhere, I'm not sure. Right? Mostly people remember many bad things of the past. Especially when they have much calmness of the mind, they start remembering many bad things in the past. In daily life, they don't feel. When they can calm down their mind, all the things will come, pop up naturally. Sometimes some of the experiences are not very nice, not very pleasant. Sometimes when you hate somebody, the hatred becomes stronger at the moment. Recollecting, discomfort in the mind, right? At the time, I remind, right? Don't recall many bad things in the past. The Buddha didn't recommend you to do dosa no sati, lobha no sati. Right? Have you ever heard this kind of Pali words? Dosa no sati, lobha no sati. We don't have. It's not a good thing to recall. What I just say, Buddha no sati, Dhamma no sati, Sangha no sati, Sila no sati, Jaga no sati. Last night I have already listed out how many no sati. Right? So that means if we recall many bad things of the past, it's not really good thing to do. But this also made by perception, sanya. Okay, now we have to move the next one. Manifestation is as an interpretation of an object based on its apprehended feature. Okay, here, we already mentioned, right? Yatha ghita nimitta vasena. So that means, okay, if we were very young, we mark something, right? For example, we see if we see like a ox or a buffalo, we may mark, oh, there's 2 horns, 4 legs, 1 tail. Then, like their has it like this. Then it's like we mark it in our mind. When somebody say there's a cow or a bull, you're just trying to record that one, as you have learned before. Then it will interpret, or the comment is like this, like this. Right? That means in your mind it will interpret naturally. Your perception, because according to your perception, it will interpret. Sometimes we have wrong perception, then we interpret wrongly. Okay, I have already talked to you when I was in the Pali school, the way I understand nimitta and the way we experience in meditation. Right? So we mark in our minds, because we just try to imagine something, we try to mark in our minds. Then we misunderstand the one. The wrong interpretation is come from sanya, how we mark in the past. So sometimes when we can understand deeper, we can change our perception, we can understand deeper, better. If we cannot change our perception, then we cannot change anything. We cannot learn better also. For example, when I was young also, I have a misunderstanding of Buddha life. I thought Buddha was practicing very diligently, his body, we have seen many skinny in the bony picture, right? Dukkaracharya picture. Now I thought, Buddha passed away. After passing away, he became Buddha. I have this kind of understanding when I was young, little boy. Because I was born in Buddhist community, we can see many Buddha's picture. Then this Buddha, they didn't explain very much in detail about Buddha's life or Buddha's biography or chronicle of the Buddha, right? So we cannot understand. Later when we reach Buddha Vansa, when I can reach, right? Then I understand, Buddha said not like this. He just attained, still alive, not after passing away. Similarly, there are many things we misunderstand according to our perception. We have to learn before. This is the manifestations of perception, sanya. The last one. The proximate cause is the appearance of an object to consciousness. How it appears, right? In the consciousness. This will be the proximate cause of perception. So sometimes in our daily life also, we misunderstand something or we see something wrong. Okay, now here we have a lot of cable. Right? We're seeing a short cable. You can see a kind of black snake. We have seen snake in black color, right? When seeing a short cable, we can misunderstand. And this is a snake. Actually, we also have many antenna. Okay, here in the shop, right? Some antenna are black. If we see that kind of antenna on the floor, we can also misunderstand a piece of rubber, a piece of plastic, right? We can also misunderstand. We will not see as a antenna. So all the things come from how we mark, how it appears in our mind. It becomes the object we understand or we recognize. Okay, now we have to move the next one. That is Cetana. The characteristics of Cetana is the state of willing or prompting associated mental factors to engage with the object. So that means we will do willingly or we will prompt the mental factors to teach to engage with the object, to know the object. With Cetana, you may have already known this kind of Buddha's teaching. Cetana is also called Karma. We translate as a volition, or sometimes we also use the volitional formation as Sankhara. So Cetana is also one of the reinforcing factors of all the mentality. So here I have already given illustration. Okay, there will be a group of carpenters working together. There's also a carpenter leader. That he will work his own duty. He also has to take care of other people's duty, whether they are working properly or not. They have to check. So that means the leader have two duties. He has responsibility for his own duty. He also has to take care of followers' duty. Similarly, the Cetana, the volition, have two duties. It also functions its own duty, supporting all other mental factors. That it also supports all other factors to work properly. This is the nature of Cetana. Then the function is to accumulate and direct karma, ayuhana, determining the ethical quality and intensifying of the action. So the function is it will make your kusala karma or akusala karma make stronger or weaker. When your volition becomes stronger, you have stronger karma. When your volition becomes weaker, it will be weaker karma. Okay, one more thing here for your information. Volition can associate with any kind of mentality, any kind of consciousness. It can be wholesome, it also can be unwholesome, it can be neither wholesome nor unwholesome. So it also determines the quality of wholesome and unwholesome. So when we have very strong willingness to do kusala, it will be stronger kusala. When we have very weak willingness to do kusala, it will be weaker kusala. Similarly, akusala. So that's why here we also mention willing or prompting. It's the nature of Cetana, volition. Okay, now we have the next one. The manifestation is as a management, engagement, coordination, or directing of associated mental factors. It can manage, it can also engage, coordinate, or directing. We can also say reinforcing associated mental factors. Then finally, the last one about Cetana. The approximate cause is the base, the object, and the associated mental factors. Abhidhamma, right? So without associated mental factors, we cannot force anybody to do. We cannot reinforce also. We cannot reinforce also. So I have already mentioned, Cetana, volition have two responsibility. Responsibility or it itself, or responsibility of all mental factors. Then we have the next one. The characteristics of one-pointedness is imminent or principal mental factors in the act of sustaining an object. the pamokha, right? Ensuring non-distraction. Abhidhamma. So one-pointedness. Then you may have already known the Pali word Miccha Samadhi, wrong concentration. As we have a right concentration, we also have wrong concentration. So if we can keep knowing one object long time, it becomes concentration, then you are practicing, you can know it. Similarly, if we are thinking about only bad things whole day, only one topic. For example, we are going to do hunting. When we think about hunting whole day, we can plan everything very well. This also Miccha Samadhi, wrong concentration. This is just an example. So similarly, we may have a wrong thought, the same wrong thought many times in one day, or the same wrong thoughts many days, many weeks, many months. It becomes poison, right? It becomes toxic. This is also wrong concentration. It causes a problem. For example, mostly we think, right? We just recall something of other people's behavior. Mostly when we hate somebody, we just recall his bad behavior. If we keep recalling the same problem of the same people, we are generating. We make stronger hatred. Right? So we hate somebody, we remember his bad behavior. Every day, just recall. It becomes stronger and stronger. It's toxic. Also, Miccha Samadhi. Because that means sustaining objects. We sustain the object. This is the power of the one-pointedness. We keep knowing the same thing. Also, here mentioned ensuring non-distraction. Of course, when we are going to have Samma Samadhi, we must ensure non-distraction. If we have non-distraction, we have stronger concentration. We call right concentration. The function is to unify and stabilize the associated mental factors. So we unify or stabilize. So as you have already know what is the concentration, you can also understand. Okay, one more thing here. The Pali word is ekakata. Eka means one. Eka means point or top or tip. Okay? That means having one pointed or one tip. That means keep knowing one object all the time. This is called ekakata. It can be wholesome, it also can be unwholesome. But when we have ekakata, although it's unwholesome, we can stabilize our mind. See, when we are going to do something bad also, we have to stabilize our mind. Right? Some other people, they are very well concentrated when they are doing something bad. Then I also know some people, when I ask, they go for fishing. Many people, they just go for fishing for fun. In the very beginning, I didn't know people do fishing for fun. I just think fishing is just for business or for eating. Right? But when I go abroad, I realize, many people, they are doing just for fun. They catch fish, they fishing, after that, they release the fish. They don't take. Even they don't eat. Just having fishes, right? Then actually I thought this is only in the Western country, right? Actually, even in Myanmar, we have that kind of people. I didn't recognize that kind of thing happen. The first time when I have been to Vietnam also, I have to cross Donang River many times. There's a bridge. In the bridge, many people are fishing. Even at night, very late night, they are fishing. Why they are doing fishing? When I ask the local people, they have to rest. That's when they are just fishing for fun. Okay, that means, when they do fishing, their mind focus on the hook, right? On the bait. How is the, like if there's something shaking, they are excited. So that means well focused, really. Although they are doing some bad things, but their minds are well concentrated on it. So that's also called stabilizing mind, knowing one thing. Okay, we have the next one. The manifestation is as a mental stillness and peace, upasama, or the facilitation of knowledge. Okay, one more thing here, right? If we have concentration, it can produce wisdom. But one more thing, if metta samadhi, it cannot produce wisdom. We can subside our mind. We can make our mind stable. But for our peacefulness, but we cannot grant it also, right? But it seems to be peaceful, but not for a long time. In the case of kusala, the peacefulness will be long. It will last long. Another thing is, it will produce wisdom. Now finally, the primary cause is joy, sukha, in ordinary concentration or detachment from rapture, piti vidaga, and advanced meditative absorption, jhana. Okay, this is just an example of right concentration, wholesome concentration. Sukha, joy. It can be primary cause of concentration. When our mind is peaceful, then calm, then it will produce concentration. When our mind becomes busy, distracted, it cannot produce concentration. Sometimes we also have here detachment from rapture. We also have this one, right? So we also have attachment to rapture sometimes. Then if we have very strong attachment to the rapture, I have already mentioned what is the rapture, right? Piti. Piti means, in the very beginning, very gross piti. Gradually it becomes very subtle piti, very fine piti. When we have attachment to rapture, it will be one of the blockage. We cannot improve more than that. Actually, not only rapture, any kind of pleasant feeling is enjoyable. When we have attachment to that kind of feeling, it's blockage. We cannot improve. So here in the case of one-pointedness, it will be produced by sukha, detachment from piti, for higher practitioners, for jhana. Okay, this is called sati or samadhi, right? Now we have to move to the next one. That is the characteristic of life faculty is sustaining or maintaining associated mental factors. Could you also mention sustaining or maintaining again? This is associated mental factors. Okay, here I should elaborate a few more things about the life faculty. Okay, we have one simile. Let's say we are going to cross a river by a ferry boat. In our modern society, we also have some boatmen, shipmen, for example, right? Sailor. Then they also send passenger to another side of a river. They then also cross over the river. Similarly, life faculty sustain the lifespan of all other mentalities. They also survive at the same time. So they also arise together with all other mentalities. They sustain, they support their lifespans, they also pass away together. The function is to facilitate their occurrence from arising to cessation. So this is the function. Then we have the next one. The manifestation is as the establishment of their present and ensuring their longevity and their natural termination. This is a manifestation. Then we have the last one. The proximate cause is associated mental factors that are sustained. These are the nature of life faculties. So it will arise together with every single consciousness, whether good or bad. So although it is a bad consciousness, unwholesome consciousness, life faculty will sustain their lifespans. Then we can also understand, right? Good or bad, you can sustain. Okay, now we have to move the last one. The characteristics of attention is directing of mental factors toward the object. Okay, here we can also understand like a reverting the mind to the object. Then attention, they mean manasikara, will revert the mind to know the object. Then here we have already known the Pali word, yoniso manasikara, wise attention, ayoniso manasikara, unwise attention. Actually, these are one of the mental factors. Here we say attention. So when we have a wise attention, it's wholesome. When we have unwise attention, it will be unwholesome. Then we have the next one. The function is to associate the consciousness and its accompanying mental factors with the object. So it will function to associate or to work together, or we can also say it will support to work together. Then finally, we have the next one. The manifestation is the confrontation with the object, ensuring that it is remained the present in the consciousness. So you can also understand the nature of attention, right? Then the last one. The proximate cause is the object itself, visaya. So these are the mental factors that arise together with all types of consciousnesses. Altogether we have 7 mental factors that arise together with all types of consciousnesses. So whether it's a good or bad, they will associate. They will rise together. That's why they are called SABBACITTASÂDHÂRADHA. We can also say seven universal. So sometimes we also say, right, oh, I just do it without intention. Right? So we can also say volition. Kirana is also one of the intention. Reinforcement. To work all the manifestors together. So in this case, sometimes according to Abhidhamma, then when somebody say, oh, I don't have intention to do, right? According to Abhidhamma, it's impossible. Whatever you do something, you have intention. Maybe clear or unclear will be the problem. Okay, sometimes you don't have clear intention. Sometimes you are clear, not very, very strong intention. Okay, one more thing here for your information. So wherever we go in a new place, we need tourist guides. Right? When I came to Nepal for the first time, then we also have tourist guides. I didn't know anything about Nepal. I don't know where's which stupa. But second time, when I visited Ramagam, right? When I came here for Katina ceremony, I don't need tourist guide. I know where's the what, right? Then you may have already known the Kassapa Buddha birthplace. There's also Asoka Pila, right? The first time when I came to that place, it is a not well-maintained area, just very few. The roads are not very smooth. We call it new. Recently, they have already discovered this one. That's why we want to see. We have to go through many very you know. It's just normal road. Very muddy. The road also not very smooth. The second time when we visit there, I don't need to wait tourist guide. I just go there, right? I know where's what. Okay, that means we have many mental factors that arise together with consciousnesses. From time to time, they are with the different leading mental factors. For example, when you are happy, at the time, feeling becomes predominant. Sometimes you are very willing to do something good, unprompted. Chena will be predominant. Because of the willingness, it's a willingness. The stronger willingness you have, stronger karma you accumulating, right? Okay, similarly, sometimes you can recall many new things, many old experiences. Okay, practically, how many sutta can you memorize? It comes from your perception. When you have very strong perception, you can remember many things. You can mark anything in your mind. When you have to recall something, at the time, perception will make. Sometimes you have very strong absorption. Your mind is very still, stable, focused, well focused on one thing. At the time, ekaggata will be predominant. So if we summarize, in every single conditions, there are many different predominant factors. as we have different tolerance guides in different area. Okay, now when I come to Nepal, I may need Nepalese tolerance guide. When I go to Vietnam, I may need Vietnamese tolerance guide. When I go to China, I may need China tourist guide. When I go to India, I may need Indian tourist guide. Or when you come to Myanmar, you need Myanmar tourist guide. You are a stranger. Right? So similarly, mental factors may have different functions, different conditions for their arisings. So if we say tourist guide in different area, there can be different, like an explanation, right? Different history, different background history. That's how we have to listen from tourist guide. So similarly, different mental factor will work very strongly in different conditions. So we have to understand this one, okay? But fortunately, when we learn in the Pali school, we have to clarify. For example, when the Buddha is mostly in the Sutta, right? You can find Buddha deliver something, right? Then we have to analyze what is the predominant factors when Buddha is giving Dhamma Talk. So sometimes his wisdom is predominant. We call it Desana Jnana. Sometimes his compassion is predominant. Right? So it depends on different conditions, different types of topic, that there can be different predominant factors of the Buddha's teaching. Similarly, when we are doing something, we also have to check what is the predominant factors in our action. It will be easier for us to change our lifestyle. It will be easier for us what we need. What is too much? What's the extreme? Okay, now when we talk about controlling faculties, it's also the thing you have to know which one is the strongest, which one is the weakest. If we know which one is the leading factors, the strongest one, we don't know how to balance, right? So that's why we need to know predominant factors in every single moment. It will be helpful for our improvement. Okay, I will stop here. May you all be able to practice 3 trainings, and may you all be able to realize final cessation and not suffering.
भन्दा मिसाडो हामीले लामो समयसम्म कुशलको बारेमा सोच्दाखेरि सम्मा समाधि भन्न मिल्छ कि मिल्दैन होला?
So when our mind is constantly recollecting something wholesome, so can we say that is Samma Samadhi?
Okay, in this case we can say Samma Sati. Okay, Samma Samadhi. Okay, one more thing here, right? Samma Samadhi is not that simple. Okay, it depends on the condition we have also. For example, if we are practicing Samatha, then jhana will be Samma Samadhi. Also, asset concentration can be Samma Samadhi. Right? Then, again, when we are doing Vipassana, the momentary concentration can be Samma Samadhi. Right? It depends on different conditions with different Samma Samadhi. When we recall something, Okay, this is a good thing. So we can say this is a right mindfulness. Okay.
Sayadaw, we must have to leave our kamathan after nimitta arise, right, Sayadaw?
Huh?
We must have to leave our kamathan, just anapanasati, kasina, we have to leave this after arising nimitta. After we see nimitta, we have to leave this.
No, you should speak a little bit from the microphone, right?
भन्ते जस्तै हामीले आनापान गर्दाखेरि निमित्त देखेपछि सासलाई छोड्छौँ अनि निमित्त मात्र हेर्छौँ नि अनि मैत्री गर्दाखेरि पनि निमित्त देखेपछि मैत्रीलाई छोड्छौँ अनि निमित्तलाई हेर्छौँ जस्तै मैत्री साधनाले आनापानले कसिनाले चाहिँ कसरी अप टु 4th जनासम्म लैजान्छ के जस्तै निमित्त हेरेपछि त हामीले छोड्नुपर्छ तिनीहरू कमथानलाई
Okay. So he has one understanding. Like whenever the nimitta arises in different objects, so we leave the main object and we focus on the nimitta. So we are leaving the kamathana and we are focusing on the nimitta.
Okay.
So his question is, how can we improve if we are leaving the kamathana and just focusing on the
यस्तो हैन भन्दै जस्तै आनापानाले र मैत्रीले चाहिँ 4th झानसम्म लैजान्छ अरूले चाहिँ उपचारसम्म लैजान्छ कसरी चाहिँ आनापानले र मैत्रीले 4th झानसम्म लैजान्छ निमित्तलाई मात्र हेरेपछि त सबैले उपचारसम्म लग्यो हैन र एउटै भयो नि
Very, I don't know, sir, a very strange question. Difficult to explain. So he say, how can, if we are just focusing on the nimitta, and we are leaving the kamathana when the nimitta arises, so he thinks like the nimitta and the kamathana are two different things. So that is his confusion. So if Sayadaw explain that, maybe he will understand.
Okay. Then this one is called Dhamma Hall. Okay? But your living room is called residence, or kuti, or monastery, right? Okay? Then, one more thing. You live your childhood. Now, in your childhood, you have done something, right? You have to learn many things, right? You have to learn language, art, history, maths, many things, right? You have to study. Now, when you grow up, what is the use? What do you use? All this knowledge. Some of them are useful, some of them are not useful. Right? Okay. If you want to have better life, mature life, you have to give up childish behavior, right? Twine you play in the childhood. Okay, so that means Anapanasati is a kid. When you grow older, when Anapana becomes older and then grow older, it will change to nimitta. You have to give up twine. Right? Then one more thing. Now you are learning or earning many things, right? Okay, when you become very old, then you also have to give up many other things also, right? Right? So for example, when you get married, you have to leave your parents, you have to live for your wife, your family, right? So, you neglect your house. It doesn't mean you become homeless. Right? You leave your parents' house. It doesn't mean you become a homeless. you can beat you whole. Right? That's why we cannot say we leave meditation subject. We leave Kammatthana. This Kammatthana, that means nimitta comes from Kammatthana. Right? We also keep focus on it. This is also Kammatthana. What's your name? Huh?
Sudip.
Sudip. Who gave you this name?
I don't know.
Right? Then, since you are a kid, the same name. Now you may have many nicknames. Right? Even your parents will give you different name. When you are a little boy, you may be a little bit lousy, right? Oh, lousy boy. Silly boy, right? When you can walk very well, oh, smart boy, mind boy. Right? You change many names, but you still the same person. Right? So that means nimitta comes from anapanasati. We still call anapanasati. Nimitta comes from kasina. We still call this is kasina. Okay?
Vandami Sayadaw. There is a question. Since young, when she was young, she has some very painful experience, and these are the past Vedana. Also, is her bad effect due to the bad karma. Through what methods or what way can she change this Vedana, and how to overcome this painful Vedana? The pain I revert in when she was young, she has a lot of painful feeling, and this painful feeling is the result of her bad karma. So, in what way he can overcome this painful feeling now?
I don't know what kind of painful feeling you have also, right? So it's very difficult to advise. Okay, for example, sometimes your parents is bad, for example, right? Your environment is bad. You may have many painful memory, painful experiences. Okay, in this kind of case, of course, you may have many trauma in your mind, right? But the main thing is, if you can do metta regularly, it's possible. The main thing is that you must love yourself. Not only you must love all the living beings equally. So whenever you feel something painful mentally, the best thing is full sublime practice. Do it, it's okay. Okay, then? Any question?
Sayadaw, there's one question in Zoom. Vandami Sayadaw, regarding perception, where is it stored? How can people recall even their past lives?
Actually, we cannot say restore or anything. We just mark, right? Okay, now, this is also one of the problems. You know, people try to ask this kind of question. Even karma also, right? Where karma store? Where we store our karma, right? It's not like not computer. It's not iCloud or how do I? Oh, sorry. We have many other stories, right? Google Drive, one drive, right? Many drive like that, right? It's not like a computer, not like IT. Be careful, right? Right? So that means when something happens, it will pop up naturally. No storage, right? Okay, then.
Another question in the chat. Please, Sayadaw, elaborate more about what is appamada. Appamada is called magga and phala citta, or nama and rupa. Can appamada be explained based on its lakhana, rasa, pachupatthana and patatthana? Please Sayadaw explain.
Actually, appamada is very wide. Not that simple also. Okay? Not that simple. Okay, I should say only a few conditions of appamada. Okay? Appamada means not wasting time with sensual pleasure. This is called appamada. There's an easier way to understand. Okay? Then we also have some other conditions. For example, consistency. When we are going to do something good, we have to do it consistently. No interruption. The consistency is also called appamada. This is one thing, right? Another thing is respect. If we do all the good things respectfully, this is also called appamada. So, okay, one more thing. Sometimes we do very bad things respectfully. Right? When we are going to do something good, we must do it respectfully. This is called appamada. If we just, for example, sometimes we say, like we promise something to do, right? Some of the promises are breaking precepts. We respectfully following the promise, breaking precept frequently. This is not appamada, right? This is negligent. So we promise something to do good, we just respectfully do it. That is appamada. Okay, another thing is we call anikita dura in Pali. That means not neglecting duty and responsibility. This is also called appamada. We have our responsibilities and our duties. It depends on where we live. Then in which community we are, there can be different responsibility and different duties. So if we don't neglect our duty, this is also called appamada. Another thing is anikita chanda. That is having willingness or strong desire or supreme desire to perform or to do good things. This is also called appamada. Actually, we have very long list in Vibhanga. Very long list of appamada. It will take very long time. Okay? So mostly people understand appamada as like a heedfulness or mindfulness of that kind of things, right? Actually, appamada is very wide. Okay?
Bandami Sayadaw. Sayadaw, I want to ask, except human beings, Garuka Kamma and Sila, how they affect animals and Deva?
Garuka?
भन्दैछु मनुष्यहरूलाई बाहेक गरुको कर्महरू चाहिँ के अरे जनावरहरू र देवताहरूलाई कसरी लागू हुन्छ अनि सिलको चाहिँ उहाँहरूलाई कसरी चाहिँ लागू हुन्छ मान्छेलाई जस्तै हो
गरुका कर्म भन्नाले
पाँचवटा पञ्च अनन्तरीय कर्म.
So besides human, how should we understand panchanantariya karma in animals and in devas?
Actually, in Devarams, it's impossible to do Garuka Karma like this, right? But for animal realms, okay, we don't consider as a Garuka Karma. Actually, only human being, key human parents, this is we can find in Anguttara Nikaya. Okay? So only for human being, it doesn't mention anything about animal. This is their life, right? For divine being, this is impossible. Okay?
Sayadaw, and about 5 Sila?
5 Risa?
5 Sila.
5 Sila? Okay, one more thing, right? 5 Sila also for divine beings, sure, they also break precept, possible. Animal also breaking precept, this is possible, right? Only for Garuka Karma, it doesn't mention anything about like anything about animal, right, and divine beings. Okay, we already mentioned if we have Garuka Kama, then we cannot attain higher attainment. Animals cannot attain any higher attainment already, right? Although they don't make any of serious offense, is normal. So for practice, we have to talk about everybody, all the living beings, right? So that means when animal kill each other, this is also Banadipata.
भन्दैछु अनि देवलोकमा चाहिँ 500 र 500 साइडमा हुन्छ नि हैन अब स्त्रीहरु उहाँहरुको त कामेज मिच्छाचार हुन्छ कि हुँदैन
His question is in the divine realms, maybe one deva have maybe more than 500 like female devis for one deva. So when he engage in sensual pleasures with them, is it considered kamesu miccācara?
Actually, that kind of is not practical. Why you ask this kind of question, right? Right? By knowing that kind of things, what will happen to you? Can you attain enlightenment? Right? Don't ask this kind of silly question. Right? Okay, one more thing I should say, right? In divine beings, no kamesu miccācara. Don't worry about it. If you are born as a deva, right? Nobody. That means none of your attendant will cheat you. Okay.
Sayadaw, there is question. Karma is not stored, so how vipaka occur?
Okay. So now, okay, let me know, right? When you speak your own language, where do you store all the vocabulary? How they pop up? We're not going to speak something. Where do you store? In the heart? In the brain? Where? Big dictionary. If you speak 2 languages, you may have very big 2 dictionary. Right? If you speak 3 languages, you may have 3 dictionary. This is the only dictionary. It doesn't mention grammar or sentence constructions or slang or many other things, right? Where do you store? That means when you are going to speak something, it pops up naturally. Right? Okay, similarly, when the time ripens, when the conditions support it, it will arise naturally. We cannot say storage.
Another question, Sayadaw. Some people cry because of the meaningful content of a sutta. So why do we have dosa when we feel the sutta is so valuable, so meaningful?
How people?
People sometimes when they read the sutta, they feel very touched and they cry. And is it considered like dosa, and why it happens when we read the sutta?
Okay. Actually, I haven't met many people like this also. Okay, the first time I have ever met is in Korea. Right? Actually, after talking about some sutta, she cried. That kind of thing also can happen, right? Maybe this is like a joy of tear, maybe, right? Tear or joy, maybe, right? Sometimes they have a lot of joyful, they cannot bear in their mind. They have tear, burst into tear, right? In this kind of case, we cannot say dosa. Maybe sometimes they may feel some sadness. Although that kind of thing is in the world, they cannot know. That's why they feel sad. That kind of thing also can happen, right? If they feel sad, it's a dosa. Because of overjoying, they have tear or crying. In this case, we cannot say dosa.
Vandami Sayadaw, she is a lay person and now she has no punya to participate in retreats. And also there isn't any Theravada Buddhist friend around her. She can only listen to Dhamma through internet, through online courses. May Sayadaw please our compassion guide her. How should she improve her practice.
Okay, for about practice, actually, there can be many different supporting conditions. I'm not sure how is your lifestyle. So whenever you have free, okay, make habit of meditation. Meditation subject should be very simple. Now I have already talked about anapanasati in many different places, many different times. Some different information also, right? So if you have habit of focus on the breathing, later when you have opportunity to join the retreat, you can improve faster. Just make new habit. For improvement, it will take time. I don't know how long you can meditate, how many hours you can meditate. That's why I don't recommend too much, right? It's very easy to get advice, but difficult to do. Okay? Any other thing?
Sayadaw, please explain why Vedana intensity or diminish the associated mental stage. Please give us an example. Thank you.
Okay. We should say, intensify me when you have happiness, it will make you stronger, right? Then when you have happiness, how do you feel? You have to be far away, right? So it depends on what kind of feeling you have. Sometimes it's acceptable, okay, you will keep it. You will make it stronger, right? Then we can also like an opposite, we can say. It will predominant factors sometimes, right? Okay, if we say briefly, it will become predominant factors. When you enjoy something, pleasant feeling become predominant factors, right? Then the more you enjoy, the more it becomes stronger. But for the about suffering, actually you don't want to enjoy it. You just want to keep distance, right? So it will be different conditions. Okay? Okay, now? No more question? No more in the question in the chat, in the Zoom? Vietnamese question. Vietnamese question in the Zoom.
Sayadaw, Vietnamese question is nowadays Bhikkhuni Sangha is no longer, it's already dismissed after 500 years after Buddha Parinibbana. So nowadays there are some bhikkhu, they accept or support for the Bhikkhuni Sangha. So do they consider like offense or commit the Sangha schism?
Actually, in this case, we cannot say creating schism, right? I mean, they don't follow Vinaya, we can say like that. Schism means, for example, they don't do Patimokkha together, Bhavana together, right? That kind of things can be considered as schism. Okay, now? Finish? Okay, now we can share merit, right? Etavada cha amehi Sambadam bunya sambadam Sabbe devanumodandu Sabbe buddhanumodandu Sabbe saddhanumodandu Sabba sambati siriya Idame nyatinam hotu Sukhita hondu nyadayo Idame nyatinam hotu Sukhita hondu nyadayo Idame nyatinam hotu Sukhita hondu nyadayo Idhame bunyam Asawakaya Waham hotu Idhame bunyam Nibbanasa Bhajayo Hotu Mama bunya bhagam Sabbacittanam Bhajami Te sabhe Me samam Bunya bhagam Labantu Sadhu Sadhu Sadhu